Can tell me first a little bit about the idea for this segment.
We knew in the summer when everyone was talking right after the death of George Floyd, we had done a YouTube series called Cityline Reel on Race. It was 5 episodes long, and we knew we were going to bring the issue to Cityline. My concern during the summer was that I didn't want to do this as a trend piece. I wanted to wait until the hashtag started to wane and then continue the conversation, because I think people are in such a rush to get out of this discomfort that we want to wrap it all up and say, okay, summer's over, we solved racism, let's move on. I wanted to make sure that we're still picking up this topic, from time to time, and I wanted to wait till fall. So then fall came along, and then I started getting nervous because being a Black woman and hosting a lifestyle show is one thing. Being a Black woman and talking about your experiences being a Black woman in this industry, in front of your crew, people you've never spoken to this stuff about, in front of your viewers who have no idea that there's this extra lens happening in your life, it made me really nervous. And as we got closer and closer to the special, like I had a meeting with my bosses and I said to them, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can talk about the fact that they don't want me with this hair. They never wanted me with this hair when I started, hosting Cityline. And it was very triggering for me. And I had bad sleeps and stomach aches all the way up to the day when we taped the show. But I'm so happy we did it.
Yeah, talk about that. And I'm sorry to make you relive it. I think a lot of people would be shocked to find out that you landed this job, and first it was suggested for you to change your hair, and then, as you said, it became a demand for you to change your hair. Kind of looking back at that moment, how did that make you feel?
It became very, in the beginning, it was very sort of a playful suggestion, and it hurt the same way, just hearing it, like, oh, I auditioned for 3 months to get this gig, and I thought I was in, and now you're telling me, no, it might be just a little bit too Black for us. Like, we're gonna need you to, Canada's not ready for this hair. And I was just saying, no, I wasn't changing it. So I just sort of wasn't fighting it, but I just wasn't doing anything. And it took a year. It was a year of conversations, me talking to my husband, me complaining to my parents, me talking to my girlfriends, what am I gonna do? Them looking at me in different wigs and us all deciding, no, this isn't you. And yeah, by the end of the year, it was sort of like, you need to do this because Saskatchewan needs to see a host where they can emulate your hairstyles. And, that's sort of the systemic and the institutional side of this. We're always trying to make our content fit a certain viewer, and that is not necessarily what Canada is all about anymore. So anyways, when I had to make that change, I was very insistent that if I was going to go with a weave or a wig at the time just really didn't feel right to me. I work out a lot and I wanted my hair to stay on my head. So we went with a weave. And I said, I want to make it very obvious to the viewers that that I'm doing this. I don't just want to show up one day with silky hair from Fiji. Like, I want to show the process of my hair getting extensions on. And we did it as a story. And I sort of came in with my tail between my legs, because I think there are some people saying, or that did say at the time, well, it's just hair. And the issue is that it became such a big deal and it became mentioned so much to me that it started to undermine my confidence. And you have to understand, I'm going from being a reporter, FISA, it would be like going from the city newsroom to all of a sudden going to a lifestyle space. That's already a huge learning curve. So I'm already trying to figure out the format of the show, all the experts on the show, and now I'm being told I don't look right. So for me to go out there and anchor this ship, feeling like I don't even have a team supporting me or behind me, it was incredibly difficult. And I just sort of had to put my head down. I was so excited about the opportunity that I said, I'm not going to let this waylay me. I'm not going to let this take me off track. I'm going to go in there and do the best I can every day. I made mistakes every day. I had to watch the show with my boss in front of the whole staff and, be critiqued. It was a humbling time in my life. But I made it through. And the whole time I'd said to my girlfriends, there will be a time when I can step on into that space with my natural hair. I know it's going to happen. I just need to earn some respect right now. I need to make sure the viewers stay on board and make this show the best it can possibly be. And here we sit 12 years in, so it's been a journey for sure.
And how does it feel now when you're wearing your natural hair?
I still have a bit of anxiety about it. And I will go to the hairstylist and I will say, well, I'm going to do braids. And they'll say, well, are you going on vacation? I'm like, no, I'm going to the show. I'm like, are you sure? Can you go to the show? And I'm not asking anymore. So I haven't asked permission. I don't think the same conversation would happen in 2020 that happened in 2008. And it hasn't. And I've been told that, they fully want me to show up 100% as myself at work. And I am leaning into that now, but it is definitely a process.
You call it a trauma.
I call it a trauma because I think that when there are these misconceptions attached to the way your hair naturally grows out of your head, when you are told that your hair might be a health issue if you work at a hospital, that your hair is considered unprofessional if you're in a public-facing job, when you have kids growing up in a school system where their hair could potentially become a reason for them to be suspended, these are traumatizing experiences, and they are very much linked to who you are as a human being. There isn't any way to separate what people are saying about your hair to who you are as a person. And it's not a vanity thing. This is a human rights thing. This is literally, it's almost like a limb on your body. And so when you move through the world and you don't see examples of natural hair and it is not accepted, to step into a space where you embrace that is actually a really difficult thing to do. And it's so heartening for me to see so many women out there wearing their natural hair, Black women wearing their natural hair and embracing it. That's what I've been passing down to my daughter. My daughter has had really positive hair messages since birth, and it's because I've been very intentional about that. Same with my son. I want them to understand that when I was wearing wigs, and I will still wear wigs, I'm still low maintenance, but now I know that I can switch these styles out. But when I wear them, it's not because I'm ashamed. It's because society expects me to look a certain way, and that sucks. But that's what mommy's doing to hold down her job. They knew all of that from the time they were in diapers, because they used to ask me, why doesn't your hair look like my hair? Like, what does it look like under there? And so I would show them like in between weaves, and they would be like, well, we want your hair to look like that all the time. And it's because they have pride in their hair, because it's a very important point for me to pass on to them.
You guys all talk about the importance of going on TV with your natural hair to reinforce to other young women and kids perhaps watching that it's okay to be yourself.
Yeah, we need to see it so that they can step into that space. And what I've been doing is with our expert auditions, because we will do sort of auditions from time to time of new experts. We have a stylist on the show that I found through an acquaintance or through Instagram. And I had her come on the show, and she's natural hair, and she had it in Bantu knots, and she came to the audition and she auditioned and she killed it. And we hired her, and she said, Tracy, I cannot believe no one said anything about my hair. And I said, and no one ever will. It's very important to me that we have a space where people are showing up as themselves, because I didn't feel like I could. And I don't want Cityline to be about that. It's supposed to be Cityline real. So we all have to be coming to this space and bringing our authentic selves. So for me, that's been a journey, and I've always been sort of incrementally closer and closer to being able to fill that. But I feel like I'm there, and I feel like this is going to be the spot where people can come and be who they are. And it's only going to make the show better.